All right, we're going to jump in here because we've got sort of a tight schedule. Good morning and welcome to our traditional family talk. This year marks the 27th year of Brotherhood-Sisterhood Week and our focus on making connections within our Fairport family. Before we begin with our speakers, a few people to acknowledge. It's been 4 years since we've had this talk in this setting. So happy to be back here, and I want to thank some important people that helped set this up. First, our PE staff. They always do a great job of setting up the gym. A round of applause for the PE staff, please. Thank you for sharing your classroom with us. And a huge round of applause to Mr. Exton, who does all of these things behind the scenes. Mr. Exton, big round of applause. I also want to take the time to welcome and thank the entire Brotherhood-Sisterhood committee led by our superintendent, Mr. Provenzano. Big round of applause for them, please. And to everyone else that had a hand in planning the special events of the week, we want to thank you for lending your time and talents. I want to welcome our dedicated Board of Education members and our district leaders. Thank you for all your support and commitment to the Brotherhood-Sisterhood Week and the principles of care that are found at the core of each of the decisions that you make. Lastly, a welcome to our special guests that are here this morning to support our honored speakers. To the students, please focus your attention on our honored speakers. I'm sure you can imagine speaking to a crowd like this could be stressful for anyone. If you could, please turn off your cell phones and turn into the messages of a few of our special family members. And now I'm going to turn things over to Jared and our band as we listen to the Brotherhood song. Mr. Greg Pepin, going to come up to the microphone, please. As you guys may know, we came about the selection process just a little bit differently this year, and Greg submitted a speech that I think all of us are going to be proud of. Greg, right this way, please.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. And thank you to everyone for taking the time to be here. Good morning, Fairport. I'm honored and humbled by the opportunity to speak today and to share my experiences as a student, as a Red Raider. As we gather here to kick off our Brotherhood-Sisterhood week, I reflect on our family, the Fairport family. I'm reminded of the ways in which this community has chosen care, compassion, awareness, respect, embracing differences, and overcoming adversity together. To me, care is about fostering a culture of kindness, where we acknowledge and value each other's unique qualities and experiences. It's about taking a moment to listen, to understand, to support each other through life's ups and downs. But it's also about recognizing that each one of us has a light to shine in, and that we can work together to create a brighter, more inclusive community. My years at Joanna Perrin, at Northside, at the Listening Post, they've taught me that care starts with ourselves. For we cannot truly care for others unless we first care for ourselves. It is about acknowledging our own strengths and weaknesses and using them to create a positive change in our world. I recall as a kid growing up in Ohio, of all places, I remember being told that to always treat others the way you want to be treated. I would hear, Gregory, you wouldn't like it if someone did that to you, so please don't do that to them, okay? Admittedly, that's great advice in the context of a playground, but as older students, it's a different story. You see, if you treat me the way you want to be treated, there's a good chance you'll irk me in some way. Not at first, perhaps, but definitely over time. But why? Because I'm not you. I don't necessarily think like you, and how I communicate is likely to be different. Treating me the way you want to be treated assumes we are the same, and we're not. We're all very different, and that's okay. That's important. We are who we are today because of so many variables: the role of family, the impact of our teachers, the influence of our friends, our experiences, and what we made them mean. Our unique qualities make us, us. My Bolivian roots make me, me. And yet what binds us together is family. This Fairport family. The family that embraces every one of our differences. The family that empowers us to blossom through education. Fairport's community is one of awareness and acceptance. I relish the sense of respect for our individuality as I pass by Classroom A. Even when it's hard to see the light at the end of the hallway, there's always someone there who sees you, recognizes you, and values your bright spirit. Indeed, each one of us is a light, each of us powerful and influential. All it takes is a spark of empathy for the vital fires of change to ignite, to illuminate. All it takes is a smile, a fist bump, or a bro-sis hug. So, if you want to spark your care, treat others the way they want to be treated. I fondly recall my first memories as a Red Raider. I moved to Fairport schools, to Northside in fact, in the 3rd grade. But there were times I didn't always feel supported. I was shy. I still kind of am, and I didn't like asking for help. There were times as well that Fairport was my rock, my source of strength. This community empowered me to branch out, to overcome insecurities through care. We embody the spirit of care each and every day, from the supportive and dedicated teachers who go above and beyond to help their students, to the countless extracurricular activities that allow these students to pursue their passions and connect with others. It is evident in the way we celebrate diversity and embrace our differences, and in the way we support each other amidst adversity. Enter the familiar 4th grade days of the Colonial Bell, of the Unity March of buddy-led writing. And what I cherished most was a short bus ride with my buddy on our way to the canal for the Unity March. As we chatted, he told me about how he and his friends were math teamers, and that he even played tennis. I thought to myself, wow, people really do math for fun? And tennis too? Man, I couldn't wait for high school. This memorable, albeit brief interaction gave me a lot of confidence and belonging. As buddies, we too can be sparks. This idea of sparking your care, of treating others the way they want to be treated, is something that has been ingrained in me throughout my education. For Fairport is a community that values diversity, equity, inclusion, and empathy. It's a place where everyone is welcome, no matter their backgrounds, beliefs, or identity. Fairport recognizes that everyone has a story to tell, and that everyone's story is important. In my story, my spark for social action has been Dream Club, which stands for Demonstrating Racial Equality for All Mankind. Dream Club is a place where students from all backgrounds can come together to discuss change, to learn from each other, and to work towards a more just and equitable world. It stands up to hatred and bigotry with love. Its eclectic vibe drew me in and sparked an energy within. Fairport emboldened my passion for social justice. I learned to be okay not being okay, and I engaged in difficult conversations. But ultimately, I've realized that sparking your care isn't just about treating others the way they want to be treated. It's about advocating for the overlooked or marginalized. And sparking your care isn't just about what you do in front of others. It's also about the small, everyday interactions that we have with those around us. It's about smiling at someone who looks like they're having a bad day, or taking the time to listen to a friend who might need to vent. Fairport welcomed my family, my immigrant parents, bolstering Raider pride within me. Honoring the perpetual Quechuan ideal of love, I strive to pass on the spark that represents our propensity to embrace others and to embrace our authentic selves. We are called to continue that spark of excellence, resilience, and promise with our legacies and stories of hope. When we spark our care, we bring intention and purpose to our actions. We take the time to consider how our words and behaviors impact those around us. We choose to lift each other up instead of tearing each other down. We recognize that we all have different backgrounds, perspectives, challenges, and we aspire to create a space where everyone feels seen and valued. As we embark on this Brotherhood-Sisterhood week, I challenge each and every one of us to spark our care. Let us ignite the flame within ourselves and let it spread to those around us. Let us be the change, and let us do it with kindness, compassion, and empathy. Thank you all for allowing me to share my thoughts with you today and for being a part of this incredible community.
Great job, Joe. Thank you. I can't imagine there are a lot of places that can bring 1,500 people together in a gym and to listen that intently to one of their students. And I am incredibly proud of Greg and all of you for your intention in framing this week and the importance of care. I'm often told that we should do Brotherhood Sisterhood all year long. And while it might be feasible because we have so much to do in the classroom, that framing, that intention is really important that we carry through those ideals through the rest of the year. And our next speaker has been living this for quite some time as an FHS grad, a class of '88, someone that truly understands the impact of Brotherhood Sisterhood, not only for herself, her family, and her role as a teacher here. Please welcome Ms. Julie Marshall.
Thank you. I'm truly honored to be speaking at this year's Family Talk. How about another round of applause for Greg? Such a genuine message of how we can ignite the flame of care. I've participated in almost every Brotherhood-Sisterhood week, and I appreciate its impact and importance on our school culture and how we treat people at FHS and throughout our lives. I want to give a quick shout out to the fathers of Brotherhood-Sisterhood Week, Jim Nowak, a past social studies teacher here, Rich Onyebeni, recently retired science teacher, and Dave Paddock, past FHS principal. Their quest for civility, respect, and embracing differences sparked this significant Fairport tradition. Thank you to Mr. Provenzano, Mr. Clark, and this year's Brotherhood-Sisterhood Committee for continuing to value this week more than 25 years later. In a world filled with violence, political turmoil, disrespect, hate, and heartache, it's easy to become overcome with sadness and fear just watching the news each day. Brotherhood-Sisterhood Week is one of Fairport's special ways to celebrate positive relationships, encourage respectful conversations, embrace all of our differences, realize our many similarities, and treat each other like family. I want to thank my family and friends who could join us here today, my mom, my kids, Devin, Fairport class of 2018, and Jordan, class of 2021, my sister-in-law Michelle, class of 95, my nieces Taylor, 2024, and Livy, 2029, my cousins Juliana, 2025, and Elena, 2023. Come on, seniors, let's go. And my friends Marnie and Jamie, all Fairport grads as well. I'm grateful to all of you for your love and support. My first message is for students only, mainly because the adults aren't going to understand it. Let's start with a vibe check. Y'all lit? Bruh, I hope this talk slaps. Low-key bussin', no cap, facts. I will avoid cringe and icks as much as possible. Don't be salty or think I'm sus just because I'm old enough to be your mom. I've got a snatch fit, maybe not as bougie as Alex Earl or Harry Styles. But girl, this talk is gonna be fire. This year's theme is Spark Your Care. As a chemistry teacher, when I think of a spark, I think of fireworks and how alkali metals react explosively in water. As a biology teacher, I think of our heartbeat, electrophoresis, nerve impulses traveling along neurons. Here we see sparks, and we all know that a spark can ignite a fire. Today, I'm asking all of us to be the spark. Be the spark for care, be the spark for kindness and compassion, be the spark for positive change. Be the spark for treating people in your life like family. With enough sparks, our Fairport family can be fire. I'm going to talk about some sparks in my life, from growing up in Fairport with family and friends, to working here at FHS and experiences beyond these walls. I want us to all think about sparks in our lives and how we can be sparks for others. Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Let me start by sharing a little about my family, my childhood, and people who make me feel care. My parents both grew up in the small town of Lyons, New York. Although my parents came from different religions and ancestries, their families had three things in common: the value of hard work, unconditional love of family, and a passion for teaching. On my mom's side, the Rook family, my mom grew up on a farm, feeding horses, riding pigs, and chasing after chickens. My grandfather would milk the cows and go to work as a music teacher. His wife, a French teacher, sadly died from breast cancer when my mom was only 14 years old. But despite hardships, my mom grew up in a close, loving family with a caring stepmom, my Grandma Ruck. My mom, both her sisters, and her brother all became teachers. On my dad's side, the Arnott's family, my grandparents were immigrants from Italy. My papa didn't finish high school, fought in World War II, worked in multiple factories, and eventually became a proud school custodian. He worked hard to make a better life for his kids. My Grandma Arnott's was the stereotypical Italian grandma who made sure we were well fed with homemade gnocchi, and she would keep us all in line with one stern look. My dad and his sister were the first to go to college, and they both became teachers. Growing up, I spent my weekends with family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and many cousins. We had Sunday supper every week in my Grandma and Papa Arnott's basement, large family birthday parties and holiday gatherings, Christmas mornings at my Grandma Rook's old farmhouse. I learned the importance of family and that every person and every job has value. I didn't realize at the time, but my grandparents were sparks for care. My parents were high school sweethearts. My mom was a cheerleader, musician, and strong student. Anyone who has met my mom knows she's one of the kindest people on earth. She's selfless and thoughtful and has been a spark for care for her whole life. My dad was lucky to call her my girl. My dad was a three-sport athlete in high school and played baseball and football at Hobart College. He was actually invited to try out for the New York Yankees at one point. He didn't become a celebrity athlete, but he did play high school with SU basketball coach Jim Boeheim. As an athlete, my dad exhibited superior sportsmanship. So much so that there is now an annual award at Hobart College, the Joe Arnott's Memorial Sportsmanship Award. It's presented to student athletes who demonstrate fairness, ethics, respect, and a sense of fellowship with their teammates and competitors. My dad was a spark for care. My parents were happily married for 52 years until my dad passed in 2019. They were our role models for the importance of family, treating each other with civility, and doing the right thing. Both were math teachers in Pittsburgh, and my dad also coached. They made strong, positive connections with their students and coworkers. Growing up, we'd often run into their past students or athletes. My parents are the reason I became a teacher, but more importantly, the reason I prioritize kindness, honesty, and respect. I grew up in Fairport, attended Fairport schools from kindergarten to 12th grade, Jefferson Avenue, JP, Minerva, FHS. I have great childhood memories, neighborhood friends that played kickball and Ghosts in the Graveyard, family trips to Myrtle Beach and the Adirondacks. I liked school, I was a band geek, played flute, I played rec softball, babysat, painted houses for a summer job. We had no cell phones, no TikTok, no Netflix. We spent most of our time with friends and family, not in front of a screen. We could spread more sparks nowadays if we put down our screens and prioritized in-person human connections. If there's one thing we all learned from COVID, it's that we need human interaction. We need to be around people who care for us, make us laugh, and feed our soul. Now, I'm not giving up TikTok or going to stop watching Real Housewives, but we can all do better. Right now, you see a 52-year-old version of myself speaking to a gym full of people. Everyone that knew me growing up would have never predicted this moment. When I was in elementary school, I was exceptionally shy and quiet, to the point that my parents and teachers were extremely concerned and tried different interventions. It wasn't until high school that I started to break out of my shell, which really only happened because kids were friendly, talked to me during class, included me in weekend plans, encouraged me to try out for field hockey my senior year, and made me feel like I was part of a group. There are students at FHS right now who are also shy or feel left out. How can we help them feel like they belong? How can we be sparks for them? After graduating from Fairport, I attended Cornell University. I was a biology major and also earned my master's in teaching science. I was a very small fish in a huge pond, but I continued to grow in confidence and became less timid and more social. I challenged myself. I played on the Cornell women's JV lacrosse team and joined a sorority, one of my best decisions. My sorority sisters share a strong bond. We share similar values of compassion and treating each other like family. They are still some of my closest friends. We don't see each other often, but when we do, it's like no time has passed. We continue to lift each other up in difficult times and rejoice with every accomplishment. After college, I returned to Fairport to teach at Martha Brown and FHS. I became friends with Fairport grads who I wasn't close with in high school. They are now some of my best friends, including Mrs. Levy, Coach Gardner, and Mrs. DeBose, all teachers at JP. We have a girls' dinner group that meets every month to eat, talk, and laugh, and we have done this consistency since the 90s. 25 years later, and we are still sparks for each other. So I graduated from Fairport, still live in Fairport. This is my 30th year teaching at Fairport High School, but I know I'm not the only one. Staff, could you please raise your hand if you are a Fairport grad or live in Fairport? Students, raise your hand if you have a parent who is a Fairport grad or works in Fairport schools. There's a reason we keep coming back. We care for each other and have pride in our community, our Fairport family. No matter where you go after high school, you will always be part of the Fairport family. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Remember that quote, I've learned people will forget what you said, forget what you did, but never forget how you made them feel? Have you ever gone to Starbucks or Dunkin' drive-thru? You get to the window, the employee tells you the person in front of you paid for you? That is an awesome feeling. It's happened to me a few times, and I'm immediately giddy and thankful a stranger has been a spark. This year, I've experienced so many examples of FHS care, or FHS students and staff making me feel fantastic and being sparks for care. In science class, sometimes choosing lab partners can be awkward. I have students in my chemistry class who specifically reach out to make sure others are part of a lab group. The class also finds a way to make me laugh every single day. My chemistry students are sparks for care. And for that, third period chemistry, you guys can pick your own seats today. Okay, inside joke. My AP biology students are also thoughtful and show care each day. For example, they'll compliment my outfits. I'm no fashionista. But I got my Dior lip oil do. My shoes, Versace do. Shirt, Gucci do. In December, I got my hair highlighted, and it turned out much blonder than usual. I was actually anxious and self-conscious going to school the next day. But all of my students gave me mad props and convinced me I looked fabulous. I felt like J-Lo. They sincerely made my day. Did you know there's a student-run care club at FHS? I didn't know until February when students delivered kind notes and heart-shaped cookies to science teachers. Turns out there's a group of students who do something nice for different teachers each month. What? Now that's a spark. In the fall, administrators made popcorn for staff, and the PTSA created a trail mix bar in the main office for teachers. Last month, Mrs. Buffum randomly delivered a chai latte to me at the start of my 7th period class. Mrs. Angus has brought in yummy homemade caramels for the science department. Little things make a difference. Even a small spark can start a fire. A lot of us are sparks for our family and friends, which is great. Keep it up. But it's harder and sometimes awkward to be the spark for someone you aren't close with. It can take courage to be a spark to a stranger or someone who's in a different friend group, has different interests, is a different race or gender identity. We all need to find the courage, rise above the hesitation, take the time to be kind to someone who isn't a close friend. I urge all of us to be the spark for care. Invite someone to a lacrosse game this spring. Have them join our passionate Red Zone. We can never have too many Raiders who are pumped up and showing pride. This week at lunch, if you see someone sitting by themselves, ask them to join your table. Be the spark for someone who needs it. On the new softball or baseball turf fields, show sportsmanship to an opponent when you tag them out. Have a civil conversation with someone who has different views than you. Help a peer struggling with their math homework. Not let them copy your homework. Help them understand your homework. Say hello or smile at someone you don't know in the hall. Tell someone their outfit slays. On days when I'm stressed out, Mrs. Kress and Mrs. Donahue are so perceptive and make a point to ask me if I'm okay or if there's any way they can help. Be the spark to someone you don't know well, someone who's having a bad day, or someone who maybe doesn't get a lot of sparks. Find your way to be the spark, small or large. There are times when we can be the spark for others, and other times when we need someone to be a spark for us. People will never forget what you said, forget what you did, but will never forget how you made them feel. My dad, the all-star athlete, started to have major medical issues when I was in high school. He had a stroke, heart infection, blood clots. In 1999, he had to go on dialysis because of kidney failure. His sister, my Aunt Sue, volunteered to donate a kidney so he could stop dialysis and drastically improve his life. The kidney transplant was a success, and my Aunt Sue was an enormous spark for my dad and our entire family, and I am eternally grateful. 12 years ago, my sister Debbie went into labor early at only 29 weeks with twins. Exciting and scary. Lexi and Max weighed only 2 to 3 pounds each and were in the NICU for weeks. Early on, Max was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, a physical disability with no cure. That was tough news for our family, especially my sister. Having twins is challenging. Having a twin with special needs is a whole other story. Now in 6th grade, Max can't walk or run. He uses a wheelchair, has PT, OT, and a slew of assisted devices. It's easy to see his limitations. But you know what? It turns out Max has been our family's spark. Max is the cutest, funniest, spunkiest, kindest kid. He focuses on his strengths. He loves singing. His favorites, Kiss, Queen, and Journey. He adores his sisters and hugs them often. He has sparked us to love harder, be more aware of people with different abilities, and to not take anything for granted. He makes us laugh and fills our hearts with pride. Max has been our sunshine and our role model for care. In 2012, our Fairport family lost a spark. Heather Boyum was a charismatic, compassionate FHS science teacher, a triathlete, a friend to many, and a loving mom to Fraser, class of 2023, and younger sister Paige. Heather was tragically struck by intoxicated drivers on a beautiful Sunday morning as she was training for a cycling race. I miss her. We miss her. Her radiant smile, her positive energy, and her friendship. The Iron Angel Memorial Foundation was created in her memory, and annual 5K races raised money for scholarships. The first race t-shirt had a quote from Heather. "I'm amazed how fast time flies. It reminds me that every minute of life is a treasure." Heather sparked us to choose happy, to laugh every day, surround ourselves with people who make our hearts swell, to smile and live life to the fullest. Her impact is far-reaching, and I urge us all to choose happy and help others to do the same. Okay, my last example of when I needed someone to be a spark for me. In the spring of 2018, my son's senior year at FHS, I was already emotional about Devin leaving for college. Seniors, be patient and kind with your parents. They are struggling now as they think about you leaving for college or the workforce. In March of 2018, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was terrified, as is everyone with a similar diagnosis. I had surgery the week after spring break, and in June I started 5.5 weeks of daily radiation treatments. I had so many sparks of care during that time. My family and friends kept my spirits high, sent cards and care packages. My FHS coworkers were flexible and extra helpful during the last weeks of school. With everyone's support, I was able to finish the school year and enjoy grad parties and my son's graduation. I'm now a 5-year cancer survivor and continue to be grateful to all of those sparks. And now I hope to be a spark for anyone going through a similar experience in the future. There are always people around us going through challenges. It's not always obvious. Look around. Who needs a spark today? Be their spark for care. I am blessed with an extended family that makes me feel loved. Time spent with my family is priceless, but no family is perfect. At times, our family can be annoying. We will fight. Family is family. We might not always like them, but we love them with no limitations. My sister and I fought a lot as kids. I had 2 special moves, which I am not proud of, but they were highly effective. If she grabbed me, I would sink my nails into her forearm hard enough to leave 4 nail impressions. If we were chasing each other around the house, I would dive out of the couch, put both my legs up in the air, and do windmill kicks to keep her away. She still loves me. We would torture our younger brother. We'd make prank phone calls if he was home alone, or chase him around the house with ridiculous, scary faces until he cried. He still loves us. Now, my family includes my 2 kids, Devin and Jordan. I'm grateful every day to have them in my life. Devin, or Mr. Marshall to all of you, graduated from SUNY Cortland and is now subbing and coaching as he looks for a job as a physical education teacher. I am proud that Devin is becoming a teacher. He's a natural. He's got major riz. And he's found a career. Sorry. He's found a career that combines his love of sports with his ability to connect with students, create a welcoming, fun atmosphere, and guide kids to healthy lives. Live healthy lives. Devin will spark care with his future students. My daughter Jordan is a sophomore at SUNY Fredonia. I miss her every day she's away at college. Jordan is sassy, thoughtful, funny, and loyal. She has a unique ability to frustrate me and make me laugh at the same time. JoJo is my biggest cheerleader and has introduced me to the musical talents of Juice WRLD, Ice Spice, and Boogie Wooda Hoodie. Usually at full blast in the car. Yesterday, she even taught me the gritty. You want to see? Jordan has close bonds with her cousins and knows how to make them feel special and loved. And I'm excited to see how Jordan continues to spread care. I'm going to steal a quote from an unknown source. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs. The ones who accept you for who you are. The ones who would do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. I have many families. My immediate and extended relatives, my in-laws, my girls' dinner group, my Cornell sorority sisters, my students, the FHS staff, especially the science department. I'm lucky to have coworkers who I enjoy spending time with. And I might have more families in the future. No, I'm not pregnant. But it's never too late to expand your family. Your family can include those you've known since you were born and ones you haven't even met yet. Fairport family doesn't mean we get along perfectly every day. It doesn't mean we always agree. But we make the effort to treat each other with respect and compassion. We cheer each other up, make each other laugh, tackle tough moments together, and celebrate together. But I forgot one more family. I'm an official member of the Bills Mafia. I've been a Bills fan since the late 70s. No hate to those that cheer for other teams. I respect your choice. It's the off season. When I was in 9th grade at Minerva, the Bills record 2-14. I was still a fan. When I was in college, they made it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and lost all 4. Still a fan. In 2018, they drafted Josh Allen. Woohoo! Still a fan. How many of you were watching the game when Damar Hamlin went down on the field? There was a collective gasp and wave of worry across the nation. But it didn't take long for sparks of care to spread love, prayers, and philanthropy like wildfire. What an example of the possible positive effects of social media. Strangers raised over $8 million for Damar's Chasing M's Foundation, a charity he started before he was even drafted to the NFL. When Damar started to recover, he posted a thank you video. At one point he said, "You put humanity above team loyalty. You showed the world unity over division." Humanity, unity over division. How amazing it could be if we all lived by these words every day. Bills Mafia is one big, happy, crazy family. Table slamming, wing eating, ketchup spraying clan that faces adversity together. If someone yells, "Go Bills," to me, I don't care if they're from Fairport, if they're Republican or Democrat, who they're married to or how they worship. I just yell back, "Go Bills," with pride. Their family, go Bills. We should think the same when we yell, "Go Fairport." Say it with pride. Say it with love. We're all cheering for the same teams. We're all hoping for dubs. We're all family. This week, embrace the theme. Be the spark. Wednesday, make a kind gesture to someone who needs it. Thursday, cheer on all your peers during Unplugged. Friday, Outreach Day, make a group of elementary kids smile. Be the spark for care. Treat them like family. Remember, with enough sparks, our Fairport family can be fire. Thank you so much for listening. Go Bills, go Fairport.
So just a few more things. I want to thank Mrs. Marshall for taking on that challenge. I couldn't think of a better representation of care, living that every day, and appreciate all the people that are here to support it. As she was talking about families not being perfect, caring is a conscious choice we make. Being a part of the Fairport family is a conscious choice that we make. So I'm going to invite a few of our friends to talk about the Joey Fund and the theme of our giving back this week and the t-shirts that were for sale. We still have a bunch in the office. And so I'm going to ask Mrs. Trudeau and the members of our Joey Fund committee to come up, just give us a little bit about what the Joey Fund is and how we help people in our own community.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm the treasurer for the Joy Fund Committee. For over decades, as a team, we have been helping families in emergency situations. For example, house fires, accidents, health emergencies. The money from the fund comes from the generous donations in our Fairport community, and we're grateful to be chosen to support this Brotherhood-Sisterhood.
Thank you so much. Just say a little bit about that. The Joey Fund is a fund that's existed for, I think, roughly 30 years. And they help families actually all over our district. So let's say a family down in Dudley School experienced a fire in their home and was in need of temporary lodging, clothes, etc. The Joey Fund exists by word of mouth. We've never talked about it in terms of publications and putting it out to the community and asking for donations. But every year, thousands of dollars are donated to the school, and it's something that our students get to weigh in on and help families. It's an exceptional way for us to make a difference when it matters most to families, okay? So this week, we are wearing our shirts. You may have seen the Make a Difference shirts. And before this even started, we sold over about $1,500 worth of shirts. And I want to take the opportunity to thank our partners with Crazy Dog, who've been working with us for, I want to say 7 or 8 years now. They donated all of the t-shirts, so every dollar that we collect goes directly to the Joey Fund. It will help a family with a parent that may lose a job and is in danger of losing a vehicle, helping out with car payments, house fires, as he just shared, families in crisis. It's a huge thing we do. And again, we don't talk about it a lot because it's not the kind of thing you want to advertise, but I'm so proud that it has existed for so long and benefited so many families. So all of you that purchased a shirt, thank you for doing that. If you want to continue to add to this goal later in the week, we'll figure out what the total is and we'll make a presentation. But we have shirts available in the main office. Last thing before we go, just a quick message. I want to, before we dismiss, thank all of you for listening intently. Our hope is that the spirit of Brotherhood-Sisterhood is once again renewed. Again, 27 years we've been coming together as a school community to have this conversation, to frame the week and recommit ourselves to the values of civility, awareness, respect, and embracing differences. Please carry that forward. And at this time, I've asked you to head back to your second period classes, and you'll be dismissed from that. Thank you.